Hello, everybody. Welcome to Premier League predictions for round 33. It's not quite the EFL Easter extravaganza, but we do have a weekend of football in the Premier League and then midweek coming in the following week. Mikey, a good week for me. For once, I got a win. It was 7-5. The cornerstone of that was a bob on. Arsenal won, Brentford won. That's the good news. The bad news is the gap is 16-9, and we were just doing some impossible maths involving Ipswich and Leicester, so I won't do some impossible maths on that. But I've still got something to play for on the aggregate. It's 172-157. Welcome.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? But ultimately, you are in a Southampton-y position at the moment, Ben.
I am.
Where you're playing for pride and sort of clutching at a straw of something else that you can play for. Southampton's case beating that wretched Derby County record.
Yeah, I'll just try and tighten up and close up and finish with a flourish. And I like this part of the season anyway because I can start throwing in bonus points and people can not say I'm being silly because the goals total does tend to go up at this point in the season. Get involved down there in the comments. Give yourself 1 point, correct outcome, home, away, or draw. Give yourself 3 points, correct scoreline, bob on. Give yourself a bonus point if you get correct scoreline and your prediction has 5 or more goals. We need to find a good word for this middle order who have improved so much the last couple of seasons. But chief in there is Brentford versus Brighton.
Yeah, it feels like a long time ago, Ben, that Brentford were absolutely unbeatable at home. No matter what happened in games, they'd find a way to get a win or at least get a draw. But 9 Premier League games without a win at home at the G-Tech, Ben. That's a wretched record. But they did draw against Chelsea at home, and they had that good point, which you predicted away at Arsenal. So still a very solid team, but you can't help but feel potentially coming towards the end of their cycle. Will Thomas Frank still be there next season? Will Brian and Burmo still be there next season? It's probably unlikely that they'll all be there. Brighton are 1 place and 5 points better off. Winless in 5 in all competitions, though. But they've only lost 1 of their 7 games at the G-Tech. And I had a little look. I think they've drawn their last 2 games there 0-0. So I thought, why not? I'm going to go for a 0-0 in this one because I'm struggling to pick a winner.
I thought you were going to land on the 1-1 that I've got down for this one. But yeah, very rare for Mikey to go for a 0-0. I'll take the 1-1 then, Mikey. It does feel like with your point about the home form slipping that Brentford will probably be happy with draws at home as the season kind of winds down, won't they? But yeah, these two very much becoming the new establishment order in the Premier League, as are Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. You can just categorise all of these games. It doesn't feel like there's any difference anymore between, 8th place and 17th place. They're all the same, aren't they? All much of a muchness. So Palace got a bit of a pasting, didn't they? They went 2-0 up against Man City. I thought, here we go again. And they got hammered 5-2 in the end. Bournemouth, they played in midweek. Now, we do need to raise, Mikey, at time of recording. So we're recording on Wednesday. This will go out on Friday. So we don't know the outcome of the spare game between Newcastle United and Palace. Obviously, Newcastle got to that cup final, didn't they? What we do know is that they're going to be a little bit more knackered and that they've just headed all the way up north and then they're going to have to play again on the Saturday. I say this a lot, Mikey. The Premier League could help out a bit more when there's Wednesday games and then Saturday games, but I know fans don't like playing on Sunday. I'm going to back Bournemouth then because of tiredness for Palace. Mikey, I'll go 2-1 to the Cherries and back-to-back wins.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go for a narrow Palace win. Mark Gay's back for them. I think he would have made a big difference in that defeat away at Manchester City. Bournemouth were a pretty controlled performance against Fulham. They started the game really well.
It's hard when you score that early sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, and they didn't really give up a huge amount of chances to Fulham. The good news for them is that it sounds like Andoni Iraola is staying. I think it's Bill Foley, the Bournemouth owner, is going to be in attendance at this one at Selhurst Park. And he's going to meet with Iraola and try and get him to sign a new contract at Bournemouth. So great news for them.
Show me the money.
I'm going to go for Palace to win this one, though, with the goodwill from the crowd with the FA Cup game coming up.
What scoreline did you have, Mikey?
2-1 Palace.
2-1 Palace. And you're up first for Everton versus Manchester City. What would this be? We normally do Sylvain Distin for this one, don't we?
Sylvain Distin's probably hard to beat, isn't it? Yeah, come back to me on this one. I'm sure I
The
can think of something.
Comments have already done it, Mikey.
So since David Moyes left Everton back in 2013, Ben, how many games do you reckon Everton have beaten? How many games do you think that Everton have won against Manchester City in the league?
I fear the reason for you asking me this is it's a very low number. So I'll go for 2.
Only one, but it was a 4-0 win in 2017. But since Moyes returned to the club, 21 points from 13 games, it's pretty exceptional, isn't it? But they haven't actually won at Goodison, Ben, since the start of February when they brushed aside Leicester. City were in the 5th spot when we're recording this, but might have moved out of it, which will give them extra incentive going into this one if Newcastle have beaten Palace. Villa and Chelsea also hot on their heels, and no Edison. He got injured in the win against Palace, so he might be missing for them, which weakens Manchester City, both from a goalkeeping perspective, but also an offensive perspective. Edison has 4 assists to his name this season. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, after all that, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Another draw for Everton at Goodison.
Did Jack Rodwell play for both?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. The Jack Rodwell derby, always worth a mention. Don't think we're going to have any Sunderland fans watching, are we? So great. Actually, there's another name that incurs the wrath of Sunderland fans. Is actually David Moyes as well as Jack Rodwell. So they won't like this. They won't like this preview very much at all. I'm going to go for Man City to win it 1-0, Mikey. I think it will be a tight game. I think peak Moyes would get the win himself, but I just think they'll probably knock on the door enough and have enough quality to nick the goal, maybe in the second half. So I'll take a 1-0 to Manchester City. Now, West Ham versus Southampton, and Mikey and myself are doing the maths with potential relegation for both Leicester and Ipswich on the cards here. And this fixture is a big part of that, obviously, with West Ham going to be expected to beat Southampton in... We'll go for the Danny Ings derby here. So the gap down to... obviously, we've got Wolves to count in this as well. The gap down to Leicester is 17 points, to Ipswich is 14 points. Obviously, if we get to 5 games and it's more than a 15-point gap, then Leicester will be officially relegated, as will Ipswich. I'm going to go for the first part of that to come in, Mikey. We'll keep following this with our abacuses. Abaci. Feels like abacus would be an abaci, wouldn't it, in collective pluralization? But what do you reckon, mate? Tight one or both teams just got... I'll go 2-1. 2-1 Hammers.
Okay, yeah, I'm going 2-0.
James Ward-Prowse, for God's sake. Sorry.
Yeah, it was right there, wasn't it?
Sorry,
I can't imagine the vibes in the London Stadium would be particularly good going into this one. But I'm going West Ham to win this one 2-0. Nicholas Füllkrug, he scored one recently. He's also had a couple of headers come off the woodwork. So West Ham are obviously getting balls into the box, and I could see Southampton struggling with that. So yeah, West Ham 2, Southampton 0.
Villa, Newcastle. Villa giving it a great go in the Champions League, but just coming up. So it's very English, wasn't it? A gallant failure there.
Glorious failure.
Yeah. You're up first, mate.
Okay, yeah, this is the big one, isn't it? In this match week, Villa need to dust themselves down after that glorious failure, as we just called it, against PSG. Newcastle have won their last 3 Premier League games against Villa, scoring 8 times. So it looks
Palace
like
tonight as well, Mikey. Sorry, just to remind the watchers, we don't know about that.
Yeah, we don't know about that one, but we do know that Newcastle have been very strong against Aston Villa in recent times. But Eddie Howe, I think, will still be missing from the dugout. He's been suffering from pneumonia, I believe. But yeah, I don't know why. I can see Aston Villa bouncing back in this one. So I'm going to go for Villa 3, Newcastle 1. Just incredible squad depth that Villa have got. I think they're absolutely fine playing Champions League games and then into the Premier League.
Well, and remember, Mikey, Newcastle obviously play a day later.
Get less, and they're the away team. So yeah, it's arguably harder for them.
I expect Newcastle, actually, we're not predicting this, but I expect Newcastle to be in third. I expect them to beat Palace and make the leapfrog there over Forest. But this one does feel difficult. I always like the idea of when you got two sides that are kind of in this part of the table going head to head that you get an entertaining draw. No one's played a Desmond yet. So shall we go for that? You're right, though. Eddie Howe not being there is obviously, more important things if his health's struggling at the moment. But I think that's an issue as well, as much as we love good old Jason Tyndall. Let's go to two. Fulham v Chelsea. I think we are definitely, categorically allowed, without any tears in the comments, to call this one a derby match. There we go. Well, Chelsea played our lot and weren't great, were they? And the saw Enzo Maresca was getting a bit diggy with the fans, suggesting that they're being impatient with his style of football. I don't know the data, Mikey. You've probably got your research there. Don't Chelsea always beat Fulham? It feels like a derby that's very, very one-sided. Have you got anything?
They traditionally do, but in the last few seasons, Fulham have pulled it back a little bit, and they're going for their first ever league double against Chelsea, and this is the 40th season that they've been in the same league. So yeah, traditionally yes, but in recent times, Fulham have started to get a grip on it.
I'm going to play for a bonus point then, given what you've just said. And it'll be heartbreak for Fulham because they're going to be 3-2 up in this game. And they're going to draw 3-3 with a late Chelsea equaliser. How about that?
Yeah, I'm going for 3-2 to Fulham. And I don't really know
There you
why,
go.
because they had absolutely zero cutting edge against Bournemouth on Monday night.
Chelsea give you a chance, Mike. You
Chelsea
don't know.
do give you chances. And yeah, Maresca, Chelsea fans are starting to turn on him a little bit. If they lose this one at Craven Cottage, I think, yeah, he might lose a lot of any existing goodwill that he's got from the Chelsea fans.
Ipswich versus Arsenal.
Yes, Ipswich's first ever game on Easter Sunday, Ben. That's the only important thing to talk about.
Don't talk about Easter Sunday with images of me. You know exactly what the comments are going to say, don't you?
Sorry,
Very
sorry
tedious
about that,
so
Ben.
don't bother.
But can Ipswich come back from the dead this Easter Sunday? No, they can't. But I think they've got a chance here because it's after the Lord Mayor's show for Arsenal, isn't it? Whatever happens at the Bernabeu tonight or on Wednesday night, it's going to be a really draining evening, even if they manage to get through it. That's the word that
was on my tongue, yeah.
And I think they will rotate against Ipswich. They definitely can. They've got the players to do that. But I think Ipswich are going to be bang up for this. But I've said this a few times this season. It was a positive performance and a good result at Chelsea. How often do we follow that with a poor performance and a poor result? So I'm not going to go for Ipswich to win, but I think they can get a point, which might be enough to delay their relegation.
The problem with Ipswich, apart from many things, did you get for a point?
Yeah, 1-1.
Oh wow, okay. The problem with Ipswich, and we've been studying them all season, is it feels like every game, even if they play quite well, they give up 20 plus shots, don't they? Although are Arsenal still struggling for strikers, Mikey?
Yeah, so it might be Raheem Sterling up front in this one. I doubt they'll start Saka. Marino, possibly false nine. Yeah. They're still struggling for a centre forward, but they've definitely got used to playing without one.
Can they waste their 20 shots, I wonder? I hope so. Beans Mikey's been super positive. I'll be ultra negative. I'm going to go for Arsenal to win 2-1. I think it will be close. And I do totally agree that they're not going to be at their best because they're going to be a bit drained from Real Madrid, whatever happens in that game. But I still think they'll have too much. So I'll go 2-1, and we will now find out, because this is the Wolves game, whether we're relegating Ipswich here at the weekend, Mikey. And spoiler alert, Man United Wolves, I will be relegating Ipswich because I think Wolves are just excellent at the moment. Manchester United aren't. God, how low could Manchester United finish? My God, if Wolves can overtake them, that'd be down to 15th. That's unheard of in the last couple of decades, isn't it? Surely Wolves are going to be. I know the bookies won't have them as favourites because lots of people bet on Man United because they're a giant club, aren't they? But surely they're favourites to win this game, aren't they? I'm going to go 3-1 to the Wolves.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go for Manchester United to get a famous draw here. Wolves, they last did the double over. So they beat Manchester United 2-0 on Boxing Day. That was a really big result for them at the time. The last time they did the league double over Manchester United, Ben, and my main prediction here is I'm going to get you to sing because the number one in the UK charts back in 1980 was Rock With You by Michael Jackson.
Oh, I want to rock with you. Oh, no. You've got to go really high.
Yeah.
Isn't that the one with a really brilliant drum fill at the start, which I now can't remember what it is? And I won't play it because we'll get copyright strike as well. Oh, Michael Jackson, bless him. Please separate the art from the artist in the comments, please.
Yeah, I've.
Matt, Mikey, boom, da 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 da. And apparently the drummer, they just said, "Oh, just do something to bring us in," and that was what he did, and it's iconic now. Love it.
It's history, yeah. I'm sure that if we do have any Manchester United fans that are still watching these Premier League predictions, Ben, they'll be quite happy that we've gone off on a tangent here and talked about Michael Jackson rather than talking about them because it's been a wretched season. They were brushed aside in the second half against Newcastle. Yeah, I can't even see them beating Wolves at home at the moment. 2-2.
So, just for the record, Mikey has got Ipswich surviving another weekend there because he's got draws for both Ipswich and Wolves,
I've done that.
which would keep the gap at 14 with Ipswich still having 15 to play for. I, Scrooge, Curmudgeon, Bloom, have got them going down. I'm just saying what I think is going to happen. Of course, I hope I'm wrong. There you go. Mikey, Leicester versus Liverpool. Was this the game where Jamie Vardy scored that amazing goal where they just hoof it in the channel and he just smacks it into the top?
Yeah,
or was that against Man United? Was it Liverpool?
No. Manchester United was when he broke the long goal scoring
record.
Yeah. Liverpool, you have remembered rightly, lets the ball drop over his shoulder. Big dipping volley. I think it was Simon Mignolet goal, and he knew that he was quite often off his line, so he just went for it. Incredible, and here we are. However many years later, what is it? 9 years. 9 years later, and still involved. Leicester did at least break that long goalless run last week against Brighton. They scored twice. Good result for them there.
Very good.
The goal scoring thing is off their back, but yeah, relegation very much looming here. And also, Liverpool can win the league if Arsenal don't win against Ipswich, which I've got them to do. Really? So I've got Liverpool winning the league here, Ben, with a 3-1 win at the King Power.
Oh, you're right. So, 13 points would go to... You're factoring in goal difference there, are you, as well? The plus 13 on the goal difference. What would it go to? I'm terrible at maths. 79, 64, 15. Yeah, I think you've got some goal difference helping you there, but the point still stands. What was your scoreline, Mikey?
I went 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1 to Liverpool. Mo Salah's signed the contract as well. So I assume Van Dijk will now do the same. It's difficult because all I'm thinking is, are Leicester going to score or not? Because Liverpool will definitely win. I'm going to go back to what I kept doing at the start of the season, just going 2-0 Liverpool all the while. I do think they will shut them out. Although, with my EFL hat on, seeing Mavadidi scoring last week makes me think he's getting warmed up for a big season in the EFL again, where he had a cigar on for most of his last one, didn't he? Finally, Spurs versus Nottingham Forest, FA Cup final 1991 or 1990. The comments will tell me. And my God, Mikey, I don't think I've ever seen that where the Spurs-Wolves game, where all of the goals, not only from mistakes, but, bad mistakes, and literally handing the ball.
It was comedy, wasn't it?
It was for the first couple, and then afterwards you're like, no, don't do it again. Stop it. My empathetic tendencies are kicking in, and I'm feeling sorry for these millionaire football players for kicking the ball in the wrong place. I'll go very quickly in the I'm going to go 1-0 to Forest. I just think Spurs right now are going to be bereft of confidence. The stadium is going to be bereft of confidence. So I think Forest are well versed to just keep it 0-0 for a while. It's going to get toxic, to use that well-worn cliche, and then Forest are going to score, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Spurs playing in Frankfurt on Thursday night, Ben.
And I hadn't factored that in. Oh, so you think, because there's this theory that if they lose that game, he'd be sacked anyway,
Yeah, there's
Postecoglou.
that theory, and there is time for that to happen because this is a Monday night game, so they might go for the
Good point.
Saturday sacking,
Yeah, Eintracht
or Friday.
Frankfurt
That could happen.
Thursday, so the day after we're
Yeah,
filming this.
but if they do it, then at least it will. The toxicity won't quite be there on Monday night, but teams
Who's
who
on the staff
counter.
that will take the team?
It's Ryan Mason usually does it, doesn't he?
Yeah, okay.
He's
Yeah,
done it
they'll
a
be
few
behind
times
him,
now.
won't they?
Yeah. But yeah, I can. Forest, let's not forget they've dipped a little bit, and they'll be nervously looking over their shoulder of all those fantastic teams. Maybe one or two of them a little bit flawed behind them, closing in on them. So they'll see this one as one they need to get a big result in. I think this one will suit them. They can hit Spurs on the break just like Wolves did last time out. So I'm going Forest won this in the home round 1-0. So I'm going for them to win by the same margin, but with Spurs scoring. So Tottenham 1, Forest 2.
Beautiful. Get in the comments. There are your 10 for round 33 over the Easter weekend. Give yourself a point for a correct outcome, home, away, or draw. Give yourself 3 points for a correct scoreline. Give yourself a bonus point. So you get 4 if you have 5 or more goals. There's a couple in there. I've gone, same game here, Mikey. That's a nail on 0-0 in Fulham Chelsea then, isn't it? I've gone 3-3. Mikey's gone 3-2 to Fulham. Let's know your thoughts on any of the topics we've discussed as well. Always interested in your guys' takes, especially if you're fans of the teams that we are talking about. And will we be predicting next week with both Leicester and Ipswich having been relegated? And my God, Mikey, Premier League relegation done with 5 games to go. Utterly ridiculous. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We'll see you next time for more Premier League predictions.